Hello everybody and welcome to Uprising 144K. I'm Hydrogen Man. So guys, I've had a long relationship with hydrogens thus far, and I'm going to just share with you some interesting things. First, I'm not giving you any medical advice, and everything I'm going to be telling you today is just my opinion, all right? Now, what I've been noticing as I've been using it for more time is how I feel that it's affecting my DNA. This is getting very interesting because I personally think, and I'm seeing some literature out there in regards to how viruses affect our DNA, how parasites affect our DNA, and how I think even cancer plays a role in all this, and how viruses play a role in cancer. I believe that we're going to learn about a lot more about this in the near future. You're going to see a lot more literature about it. What I'm noticing is that hydrogen seems to be affecting my DNA, the way that I feel. Even after years of usage, you think that maybe the benefits would be done. It doesn't feel that way. And this is one of the reasons actually that I tell people, look, if you want to get serious about hydrogen, forget silly things like, for example, the pills, which honestly, I really believe that they're not very good with you. I've seen that they have metallic magnesium and they're going to have a bad long-term effect, but forget that part. They're the most expensive way to use hydrogen. And if you really want to get the benefits, I'm realizing that with longer exposure, it seems to do even more and more magical things. That's the first part. The second part, it has to be clean, guys, because of, again, if you're going to be exposed to something for a long period of time, it's really got to be clean. In my opinion, there's many different ways to actually apply hydrogen, guys. The problem is that we can't just all go to medical centers and be put in a hydrogen hyperbaric chamber and a hydrogen bath and have a hydrogen IV solution in us and all this stuff. So realistically, the best we can do at home, with a decent budget would be really good water and for drinking and the gas inhalation, and that's about the best that we can do. I have looked into some of those bath devices, and they're expensive if you get a real good one, and honestly, for the amount of water that's going to be in the tub, it's kind of pointless. I hate to say it, but it's pretty pointless. So what I'm finding out is, again, the way that, whether it's because of the signaling, the way that hydrogen can be a signaling molecule, because of gene expression, somehow it's helping us a great deal. Because what I'm discovering is, it appears that a lot of our DNA is not really our own, as strange as that may sound. Maybe as much as 10% of it. We're getting hijacked by certain viruses. And ultimately, they literally branch right into our DNA and into our cells, and then they can screw things up as far as the way that they want to, again, gene expression, which is I think one of the most interesting and great discoveries in regards to hydrogen, how it can help with gene expression, guys. I don't know if you understand what that means, but when some virus goes in you and can penetrate the cell, and then it wants to start replicating. I mean, these things don't even have their own metabolisms, guys. So they're hijacking our body. They're making our body think that this is us, and we're making these cells. That's the way cancer functions also. This is why I think it's so important to be on hydrogen before you get sick. Why it's so important to be on hydrogen as a preventative. It just has to be a part of your life, which is why it's got to be easy. I mean, if it's complicated, I don't know who's going to do it. But it's got to be made easy. And, ever since, and I've tried, actually, maybe I'll make a video if you guys really want one of these. I've tried, I have a whole bunch of different products that I've tried in regards to hydrogen, and they definitely work differently, because one of the things that I also found, and you'll see, I'll be making some other videos in regards to it, is how important it is that hydrogen can penetrate and go into deeper parts of the body. This is one of the reasons that when I drink the hydrogen water, for example, I do it on an empty stomach. All right, and that way it can literally go right through my stomach. And also, if you make it with the nano bubbles, I guess I've shown you guys before, but here's the way I'm doing it here. And that way they can stay dissolved in the water for longer periods of time, and that way it can penetrate all the deeper parts of my body. Plus, I'll do the inhalation, which I'm actually doing right now. So that way, again, via a different pathway in order to get hydrogen up into my brain, because, by the way, it appears to be the only real antioxidant that can go right past the blood-brain barrier. And there's some very interesting research on how it's affecting the brain, whether it's with Alzheimer's and dementia. And I'm going to be making more videos about that later also. But what you have to see is the overall way that hydrogen can be used. In fact, let me see if I can find one of these articles, and maybe I already closed it. Oh no, it's right here. Well, actually right here. Great. So just look at some of the ways that hydrogen, oh, where did it go? Yeah, right here. You know, how there's all these studies about cancer and how it's been effective for things like that, tissue functions, the sensory system and skin. And I've had a lot of the reproductive system, the urinary system, the respiratory system, the metabolic syndrome, the digestive system, cardiovascular system, the central nervous system. How can it be effective for so many things, guys? I mean, it's kind of crazy. One thing that can do so much. And I think it's ultimately because of the way that it functions in the body, whether it's, again, as a signaling molecule, whether it's the way that we're expressing genes, whether it works on as, you know, the antioxidant or on ROS, you know, like reactive oxygen species, and just all the, I mean, we don't even really know the full way of how it works because our bodies produce hydrogen too, guys. This is one of the reasons. There's many different ways that they're looking at it, like, hey, you can use hydrogen water, right? Yes, you can do the hydrogen gas inhalation. What about making your gut make more hydrogen? This is the reason I do the hydrogen smoothies. What I've noticed, and you can check out that video if you want, just type in hydrogen smoothies. It's video number 120. And I highly recommend it because I also put nutrition in there also, which is kind of, it serves multiple purposes. It can be nutritious. It can help my body make hydrogen. And obviously it's my sustenance, so I don't get hungry and stuff like that. But what I'm really talking about is the long-term effects, because I'm surprised how it's affecting me long-term. I'm actually really, really surprised. I mean, being on it 1 year, being on it 2 years, being on it 3 years. And I was using hydrogen on older devices even before I started making my videos, and they just didn't have really that profound effect. In fact, the big leap came when, and I think it was like around 2017 or 18 when I started using my Hydrofix. That's when not just my benefits, but the benefits of other people that I knew really just went to a whole other level. In fact, that's when my heart condition went away, and it never went away with the other devices that I was using. And even after more and more time, it just seems to have this very profound effect in the long term. And obviously there's many things going on, but I think a lot of it, guys, has to do right here. The DNA is a huge part of it, and how a lot of our genes are being expressed. Because a lot of times they can just, we can be told by, you know, the quote unquote, the professionals, hey, you know, it's all genetic. It's not just genetic sometimes. I think it's the way that the genes are expressed. And the hydrogen seems to affect gene expression, guys. And I think that ultimately, again, when we see something like cancer, that can be a form of gene expression. That's why they would say, oh, well, this cancer is genetic, you know, and your cells are literally replicating these cancer cells, you know, that is basically a mutation of DNA. Somehow I feel in my body that hydrogen is affecting my DNA, and it won't do it in just 1 day, just the same way that you won't get cancer in just 1 day. I think it's something that happens with time, and obviously as our immune systems get weaker, then we become more susceptible to all these attacks on our, whether it's our DNA or whatever in our body. This is another reason why I think hydrogen is important, because it keeps your immune system strong. There's so many premises that it functions on, which is why I think, again, going back to that other chart, why it seems to work on all these different things, you know, because it's supporting the way that our body naturally functions. And so anyway, guys, I just wanted to share this video with you guys because I can't stress enough how important it is that if you're going to use hydrogen, not only to take it seriously, but really think about the long term. And unfortunately, I've seen so many devices out there that are actually toxic, which is just really, really weird. In fact, I should probably make a really more detailed video about it because it's heartbreaking. Because you think you're going to get these benefits of hydrogen, but when you're on it long term, guys, you're exposing yourself to toxicity over the long term. And even hydrogen, I'm not sure, can help you if you just continue to expose yourself to this stuff, even though you'll get some benefits from the hydrogen. I think the key is to actually be able to use hydrogen in a non-toxic way. Really, really clean is super, super important. This is also why when I make my hydrogen smoothies, I use, you know, organic vegetables as much as possible, and the organic fruits, and even the supplements are organic. And I do the best I can to minimize exposure to whether it's pesticides or whatever else that might be in our environment or our foods. So, all right, guys, just wanted to share with you guys some of my long-term experiences with hydrogen and how they seem to really be affecting me, even more so throughout the years. I'm finding it incredibly interesting, and I think it also helps when I do some of those anti-parasitic cleanses that I do. I think the combination of it all seems to be incredibly helpful. So I hope that you guys found the video helpful as usual. Don't forget to support the channel. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, right, guys? Don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and that's it, guys. I'll see you next time on the next one.